What up, guys? Shorty here. How's it going? Been a long time, but I am not gone. I'm certainly still here playing Path of Exile. Can't help it, of course. So, I wanted to give everybody an update on, Path of Exile 2, where I am, what I'm doing, what I'm gonna do in the future, everything like that. Um, so I just wanted to give a quick recap for everyone, right? So I know I started out playing PoE2. At the start, I played Stormweaver, so this is the footage from some of that. This is in the end game, so T15s and whatnot. It was super fun. Loved this build. Definitely stopped after a while again because the end game, but I'll get to that in a second. um Start off with, I like many of y'all, I don't know like if you guys all feel the same way, but I definitely love the leveling experience. It's obviously spent a lot more time there, but I'm glad it like kind of pays off because it's a very enjoyable experience, which is very different than like PoE1, right? Where I absolutely hated leveling in PoE1. I would avoid it like the freaking plague. And I almost caught myself doing that here, but like every time I ended up going back and like starting a new character, even if it was just to like delete it because I was just trying out like maybe the first 10 levels or something like that. Um Honestly, like it's fun. It all plays like smooth and fun. I feel like everything that I've tried out so far, like even though it hasn't been easy by any means, right? It's definitely not easy, but it's fun and smooth, and a lot of it gives me hope for like the end game and how that will eventually like play overall. So hopefully that's that's how I feel for the leveling. And then going into the end. Okay, guys, as I was editing, I totally forgot to add the part of my extensive hatred for Act 3. Oh my god. Okay, I actually hate Act 3 so much. Although I really hate Act 2, like leading up to the boss, like the part of like where you have to on the carriages and everything, because I just hated it with my build. But honestly, the whole like process of going through Act 3 is so grueling. Like I literally just feel like I'm banging my head against the wall every single time I get to the next quest line in Act 3. It's so aggravating, and every single area I just feel like I'm always lost in backtracking and never getting enough like actual progress in. It feels awful. Okay, that's my rant of Act 3 done. Thank you. And then going into the end game, that's definitely where things get a little bit iffy for me. I love the way the builds feel, so I don't really think that's as big of an issue for me right now. And I'm glad their recent patch didn't focus on like kind of the build side of things. It kind of focused more on like making the game play better as a whole, which is why I came back, because I was not playing for a bit simply because like it just didn't feel good to play through the maps. Trying to find the citadels and the smoke and trying to find like which way I was supposed to go. I still struggle with that, honestly, because I am not good at deciding to just go like one way. I'm really like, I kind of end up going a different way because I'm like, oh, this path kind of blocked me off. It's useless to keep going further. I should go a different way. And like, I think I could go over here and the citadel will be close by and stuff like that. And so I end up like branching out in all these different directions, and I think that like ends up hurting just like my experience in general. And then of course like the citadels themselves, I'm not the best player, so um yeah, I'll die to the boss sometimes, and that really sucks, losing all that progress and everything just because I like, freaked out once in front of the boss or something like that. So, it's definitely not the most fun, but I have a lot of hope that in the end all that's going to kind of feel a lot better, cuz the builds themselves, play and are super, super fun. I really do enjoy them. So I'm really excited to keep seeing like how all that changes and progresses. So, in the meantime, instead of like continuing on the Stormweaver, because I feel like I kind of was like hitting a point where I was gonna have to start investing a lot, like more money to just get like a minimal increase. As well as like after the patch, I came back and it just didn't really feel like the same. So, I didn't really want to try like figuring out what was different or whatnot. Just decided to go to a different character. So, some of y'all may have seen my most recent streams. I've decided to go back to my roots of a more glass cannon build, and what better than Flicker Strike, right? So, without further ado, let me show you some of my Flicker Strike experience. So, step one, I had to figure out how the heck am I gonna play Flicker Strike when I don't have a Flicker Strike character. So, went ahead and leveled a monk, and that was fun, but I have no idea what skill I was gonna play. When I was first starting to level, I was just kind of doing whatever, and it was not working out. Definitely was not the play to do that. So, I eventually looked up a guide, and thank the Lord I did find this guide, Local um, his guide online was actually really good. It was made for Flicker Strike Invoker, which is great, but he also has the leveling set up with Ice Strike so that you use like at least a similar tree and everything like that. It's not too big of an issue to go back and forth. So I did follow this because it has good passive tree guide and skill gem guide as well, because that's kind of like where I'm still a little bit confused on the game. I don't know everything, obviously. So, I thought this was a really good guide, and where I was struggling, I was able to like, find the places in his guide where he actually like had really good descriptions and had everything described out nicely. I really liked it. Anyway, I didn't read all of it, of course. I kind of just, look at the pictures and follow the pictures. You know what I mean? So, I think it was really good guide though, and I'm also still kind of following it and referencing it when I'm going into CI and into like the budget stuff even that I'm using right now in like the early 80s with the Flicker Strike build, but it really did help me like tremendously on leveling especially. So I definitely recommend it. I'll definitely make sure I put that link in the description for y'all so you guys can reference it as well, and I definitely recommend following that if you guys want to try like leveling a monk invoker at all with Ice Strike. I think that one works really well. Also, so the uniques that I used while leveling, I think also really made the process a lot easier. So definitely, I know everybody's on the Pillar of the Cage God, right? That's definitely like the quarterstaff to use. Definitely makes everything super easy. So when I was first starting, because I was using Pillar, I also was using Grey Make as my helmet at first because that helps me get like a lot of stats for all of those. And honestly, it just made me fly through the early levels super easy. I then changed into a Wings of Kalen after like level 30 or so probably. I changed over to that since it has the diminishing attributes per level. Eventually it just wasn't worth it, so I switched over to Wings of Kalen for the rage hit and everything like that. Was also using Wanderlust because, gotta go with those cheap ass boots, love them. And definitely helps though for the unaffected by slows. Those are great. For the rings, I was using Blackheart on one. That one I eventually changed out for a rare. That was the first one. But I was using the Pulsarkelm, I don't know. Pulsar, I don't know. However you pronounce that ring, I don't know how it's pronounced. however you pronounce it, that ring, I used that one for a while, even into mapping, because it really is it was just really nice, helped a lot. And then using that with Grip of Winter gloves honestly gives you the help with the flat cold damage as well on the early levels. You really do see just like that tremendous just like AoE shatter as soon as you put on all that gear. It was crazy because I leveled I think like the first like 10 without having twink gear, and then I put it all on and I was like, oh, oh, this is great. Also, my other issue while leveling is I wasn't using the right amulet for a really long time. I honestly don't know why I wasn't using Everlasting Gaze. Because honestly, that fixed all my mana issues. As soon as I put that on, mana issues, not a problem anymore. Everlasting Gaze. Should have used it right away. That was my issue. Um, but yeah, so that was my leveling experience. Those were my leveling uniques that eventually slowly turned into my rares. So once I finished all the acts, then went into leveling. So let me show you some of that gear and some of that footage. Alright, so I just want to show you what my skills and gear look like right now. So at the time of me recording this, it is currently, we still have my beginning quarterstaff that I bought as a rare as soon as I was able to. Um, Level 67, I think, literally. And so I just looked at like whatever the max requirement level for level 67, highest fizz and flat damage type staff was what I was looking for. So this is what they had. I'm also am using Hoa along with Ingenuity. Hey guys, so as I was editing, I realized I didn't really touch on the fact that Ingenuity is an expensive belt. For sure it's not a budget item. I know I said budget a couple other times. A couple of my other stuff is definitely budget items. My Ingenuity is from my last build that was a little bit more invested into, and so that's just leftovers from that last build along with Hoa as well. So those things are not things that like I really invested into for this build alone, right? So that's why like I got a little mixed up there with the whole like budget thing. It's definitely not a budget. You can 100% still use a rare with that. I did use a rare for a while before this, along with rare gloves as well. I think I had like +1 melee skills into it as well. So stuff like that could definitely still work. This just helps scale the build like a lot higher for sure. So like I have a higher ceiling to to aspire towards, which of course I love. So just a little tidbit there. Other than that, hope you guys enjoy the video. And then I have a breach ring with 57% rarity and 45 intelligence. And then I got another one, 32 intelligence with 31 rarity. That's the ones I'm, of course, like most important because of the int for Hoa. Also here we got 47% rarity, lots of life and res here. Serpent's Egg, using that for the additional charge gain, rarity, life, and 30% move speed along with res. So in total, we actually do have 247% rarity, which I know is probably overkill, probably insane. But uh, honestly, I feel like it is maybe paying off that I have that much. I feel like if I had less, I probably wouldn't see the payoffs as much as I do. But that's just my anecdotal like thoughts. I'm not really sure how that's really playing around with each other. But these are DPS and skills at the moment. I am just following the guide here with the skills. Whatever was set there is what I put in type thing. My gear is kind of where things get a little bit crazy. Passive skill tree, I also follow the guide pretty much as closely as possible. The gems are what or whatever I had in my stash though. I think that's from my other character along with This one I think I just randomly found on the ground recently. And then this one I think was from my other character as well. So kind of just have, and that one's from my other character. Yeah. So so I kind of just have a it's pretty budget at the moment, nothing crazy. So let me show you some of the footage of like what this looks like at the moment. So this is from my last stream. This is some of the clips and just footage from how I was playing. I think last stream and the day before is most of these clips. Definitely I've made a lot of the good upgrades, couple divs put into the build. So it's definitely not cheap by any means, but not um nothing insanely expensive. But as you can see, it's definitely still fun. I'm still using Flicker Strike a lot, so it definitely still plays a bit like Flicker Strike, but you definitely need the power charge requirement to really get like that really nice chain going, it feels like. Maybe I'm just using it wrong, or I don't have like the right charges like built up yet, so that's where um I'm still figuring out and trying to build it to become more efficient. I don't think I've invested quite enough maybe to get that like perfect feel of it all down, but I definitely still use it a lot, which is a lot of fun. You definitely still get those really pretty chains going. But it's definitely still a glass cannon build, 100%. It is pretty squish. Um, I definitely find myself dying if I ever stand still for too long trying to pick something up in front of like any amount of monsters. It's definitely not a good thing. I don't think it's ever a good thing in Path of Exile too. Um, but it's definitely something that you can find yourself in a position like maybe if you run out power charges and you don't have any mana and stuff like that. I usually forget sometimes to use my basic attack, which I have it on my left click, so I should remember to use it. I think that's just like a little bit of a skill issue still, you know. Um, but that's part of the stuff like I'm still learning the flow, the skills, and I definitely know I have some footage of it, but bosses themselves, like if you get the combo right, the bosses feel really good, where you're able to just kill them really fast and you didn't take any damage, and it's really cool. But there's other times it's a lot harder, and I find myself like I just can't get the right combo down, and I don't have any charges, and I'm left like running around a little bit too much for my own safety. And that's where like doing the citadels is definitely a little bit scary. I failed the first one that I tried to do. I mean, I'm only like level 80 something, 82 or whatnot. So I probably shouldn't have tried it in the first place, but yeah, it didn't turn out well. I know I have videos of that soon. But for the most part, it's been really fun to play again, just because the clear speed's insane. Like as you can see, like I just like zoomed around that map, and it's just really fun when the chaining really does line up. The density definitely helps a lot with that now. It helps with the chain just to keep on going, and it's really cool. Um, but like here's like the boss damage. Like when you get that combo down nicely, beautiful, dead, nice. You know, I think that's really great. Um, so it really is all about trying to get that combo down on the bosses, and that's something like I'm still learning. So I'm gonna do a lot of the map bosses to try and make sure I figure out how to get that combo down nice. Cause like doing the Citadel boss, like I kind of just sat there and then got hit twice, and that just doesn't feel good. You know? And then especially like the fact that I can't try it again or anything like that really sucks. So I need to make sure that I fix that. This build's also pretty squishy still, so I am working on getting it towards the CI because it is just gonna make it feel tankier. There's definitely like just chaos explosions that I've died to after the fact. Even after like I finish the map, just a random chaos like bubble kills me. Um, which yeah, again, does not feel very great. So I don't want to be too glass cannon. So I'm definitely working on trying to get more towards that CI version because right now we're still hybrid. I don't know if I should probably move my camera. I'm at about like 1700 life, 1300 ES. So it's definitely a good hybrid build right now, but definitely like doing T15s, especially like super juiced out T15s, probably not the play. Right? I probably want to be a little bit tankier for that. So that's my goal for now. As you can see, like if I don't get the combo just right on these bosses, it's definitely a little difficult. So, but overall, I think when that combo hits, how it feels just makes the whole build so worth. Like that's what I really want. So that's what I'm aiming towards. Let me show you some of the bad videos that I have that are a little sketch of how this build really looks like. Flicker Strike can definitely put you in some really bad positions sometimes. You know, you flicker into a pack of rare mobs, you don't have any power charges, and you're just dead. You know, you're sitting there. It only takes one hit because we're glass cannons. Blah blah blah. Right? But some of these deaths, guys, some of these deaths are still fucking bullshit. Bullshit. Alright? We cannot accept half of these deaths, okay? And we need to stand up for some of them and make sure GGG knows that some of these deaths are fucking bullshit still, okay? But some of them 100% are the skill, and it's just what happens. So, kind of like what happens here, you know, you kind of just go one way, and I just kind of run out of charges at one point, I think. No, not even. I just kind of like just died to random things, but I mean, I don't have a lot of health, so I mean, what am I gonna do about it, right? Rare hits me, boss hits me. What am I supposed to do about it? I don't know. Now, this also might be my fault. I am doing this at level 82, but I will say some of these deaths is just like, you know, if the setup just isn't perfect or I just take a little bit too much standing in one place or whatnot. Yeah, you're dead. That's how it goes.
What happens when
So
you don't
it is what
set
it is.
yourself up
That's the skill.
properly.
I really love it though. I can't lie. Flicker Strike itself, when it feels fun, it it makes the rest of the game just feel fun, right? Like the end game itself does not need to feel fun when the skill itself is fun for me. So that's why I've really enjoyed playing it and why I'll continue playing it in the future. Because honestly, what better way to play Path of Exile rather than like just zooming around the entire map? I mean, I can't think of a better way. I love it. So, I hope to see y'all out there, and I hope everyone has a great time. And I will see you later. Bye.